Oh, are we live? We are. Hi, everybody. I'm reading the rule books, but I'm not running this, so I'm going to hand it directly over to Lauren and stop talking.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Peterson. I am the director of Flight of the Apollyon, our game of Armor Astir, which Briar has so graciously updated again. So we constantly have to learn the rules over and over, which is fun. You can find me on Twitter at DM_LSP, and I'm going to adjust my camera down a little bit because my face is super out of the screen. You can buy the games I write at dmlsp.itch.io. Let's start to my right with Kit. I guess it's my right. On the screen, it's my right.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kit. You can find me on Twitter at KitBattlebeard. I am playing Cyril. He is a steer builder. It's called an artificer in this, if I recall correctly. And I've got some accidents I need to fix up.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be fun. And Liz, who I always call Fav.
Speaking of accidents, hi, my name is Liz.
No.
So my mom's now.
Oh my god. Good lord.
Anyways, it's been a long week. My name is Liz. You can find me on Twitter at Favtastical. I am playing Seisha. Seisha is an Arcanist who is going through a little difficulty right now as she is currently incorporeal due to some poor planning on Cyril's part. And you know, she just wants a body so she can flirt with her crush Armo. So
your self-insert crush.
Yes, my self-insert crush.
Jesus.
Hey. Listen, we've all made a in-game waifu before. It's fine.
I didn't.
Oh,
not this time.
You haven't?
This is my first. So.
Mine is the ship, obviously. So.
Obviously.
God.
This absolutely horrifying ship. I'm sorry, I can't get my webcam where I want it. I'm the worst.
They're very annoying sometimes.
Do you see me moving around constantly on screen?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's go down and start with Kim.
Oh, hey. Hi, everybody. I'm Kim. I am playing Farina Talbot. She is our witch, our bloodthirsty armor steer pilot. Yeah, she's a problem child. Who knows what she's gonna do tonight? It's gonna be fun. It's fine.
Who knows? Who can say? Who can say?
It's fine.
I bet the demon in your mech can say, but
yeah. Who knows? It's gonna be fun.
And finally, our noble and absolutely horrifying captain, Drew.
Hi, I'm Drew. As I said at the beginning, this is, I guess, my channel, as we all know. And I'm going to play this captain who is going to be very weird all night. I don't have any other excuses.
All right. Well, with that, let's get into it. The downtime rules changed since we last played, so we're actually going to run through them instead of doing them off screen because now they are scenes we play out. So everyone is going to get to lead a scene, and we all get 2 tokens. Each scene is going to give us a couple of options to spend tokens on, which is fun. And then I get 4 tokens I can use to cancel out other people's tokens and be like, no, actually, the authority stops you. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to plan our next sortie. So it might be a bit of a short session tonight. And oh no, did the curse get us?
No, the curse has not gotten us. I just want to say, I say let's do the check-in portion of the downtime move.
Oh, we did that prior, but we could do it on screen as well.
Let's have a little thing.
Is everyone happy with how the game's gone since the last downtime, which hasn't happened? So how we doing? How we all feeling? Everyone feeling good about the game?
I'm
Well,
feeling
so
great.
can we? So I'm going to interrupt.
I'm gonna enter. Okay.
Yes, I'm just going to interrupt. I'd just like to announce that. So I think this is I just want to mention because I think this is a really cool mechanic. Because it specifically says it's time to check in with each other, not as your characters, but as players, which is like super crucial in games. So
Yeah.
It is.
I wanted to mention that.
Which is why I wanted to
Yes.
highlight it on the
Yes.
stream of just
Yeah.
being like, yeah.
This
Nothing wrong
is the time where we check in and we have an opportunity to explicitly the rules say like, hey, do you want to talk about any safety tools that are or aren't working or amend any
Mhm.
lines or veils?
Yeah, I was going to mention that I liked that specifically
Yeah.
said that because that's really important for gaming. So
do we have any
I personally am really enjoying it. I think this is unlike any game I've ever seen in which you play both sides.
yes,
that was cool, and I'm glad that so prior to our last session, which we were just going to do the conflict turn, Briar rewrote that to include everybody as well, and it's
Yeah.
super fun to be like, yeah, let's just make up these absolute asshole fascists we have to play.
Then we get to
Um,
bring them back and defeat them. It's
Yeah.
Which
the
is really
best.
fun because I just have like a giant stenography pad full of assholes that you have all created, and I'm very excited about that.
If you think they don't all exist in D&D Beyond by now, you're
well, it's more
Um,
collaborative, and so it's not just the DM with everything in their head and
Sure,
everybody
which-
working at the table against them. It's more
I
fun that way.
super
So.
appreciate because my head gets very full
Yes.
trying to
Mm.
keep track of all of this shit.
Yes.
We get some
Um,
great characters. Go on.
So it says, has everyone remembered to clear any risks they've gained during the last
Yes.
sortie?
So if you have any risks, you can get rid of them. Risks are temporary and can be overcome fictionally or through just outlasting the mission. As opposed to perils, which perils are
that's
like
what-
actual danger, which is, I believe, what you have that is currently
Yes.
making you phase out of reality.
I'm
Yeah.
shunted.
Yeah, because I just had blast back and off balance as risk, so
Right.
I did clear those.
I feel like
Hanging off the edge on Cyril should have been a
I
risk, not a
Yeah,
peril.
I was about to ask that.
And then your hacking cough is still, I believe, is that still a peril? I might have not been super familiar with the rules when I gave that to you. I don't remember the context of why you got it.
So
because he
I got,
fell through the mist to land
Yeah.
on top of the Apollyon as the Apollyon.
was-
Oh, okay, then yes, that is
away.
still a peril because that mist is bad and poisonous.
Yeah.
That mist is not like, oh no, I have a cough now. Like you don't want to breathe that in.
Is
So,
it
yeah,
like
that's still a
fantasy
peril.
asbestos?
It is miasma in the grand sense. Yes, fantasy asbestos is a very good way to put it.
Does he have fantasy mesothelioma now?
He might.
Better call your fantasy lawyer.
Let's.
If he listens.
What do you
Oh,
sue
sorry.
about a magical mist poison?
The wizard that created it, I guess.
Yes. I'd like to sue a dragon, please.
I want an entire game about where you can sue a dragon. Somebody made a D&D setting where like one of the most powerful classes is lawyer, and I was like, what? And then I read it. I'm like, actually, this fucking
Fucking
rules.
amazing.
Makes sense.
Because lawyers were
good.
like you defended people against crime, which meant you had to like go into dungeons to gather evidence and shit. And so like lawyers were really good at what they did. I don't
Roll
remember
those
the name of it.
perception checks.
I think it took place in Sigil or something similar to Sigil. It was rad. More lawyers in games.
I have an.
I
Adam,
think
I have an
maybe.
Adam Scott Bard that can. I don't believe you're a thing, therefore you don't exist.
Oh, that's fun.
Obviously, D&D game idea. You play as God. What was I just thinking of? Something stupid. Oh, you play as whatever those people are that serve warrants.
Solicitor.
A subpoena officer.
Yeah, you just go up and just go serve this dragon.
Yeah.
Subpoena.
Excuse me, are you Thog the Bloody-Handed? That's Thog the Bloody-Handed, Crusher of Worlds. All right, well, you've
Yeah.
been served.
Yeah.
Wait, what? It says they're suing me for destroying their whole village?
And then my dumb brain immediately just said, "Now I want to make Dog the Bounty Hunter a D&D character," and that's just a bad idea.
You
Oh,
absolutely
God.
could.
Oh God, no, that's a bad idea. I already have a trash mean character, so.
Um,
All right.
yeah, let's. That's a perfect note to I think transition and get started. It looks like nobody has any risks left. We do have a couple perils still on the board, which is Cyril's hacking cough and Seisha's being shunted, which is just being out of phase due to Cyril's invisibility generator.
Yeah.
Which, Cyril was like, it makes you invisible. Didn't realize it shunts you into another dimension temporarily.
I don't know how it works. It just works, okay?
It just works.
Listen. Dream mechanics, okay?
Dream mechanics.
I guess.
All right. So we'll start this off by, I guess, I'll go over the downtime scenes really quick. We've got a couple here. I think it's 6. It might be 5, might be 7. We'll find out. The first is command deck or briefing room. The leading player, whoever decides they want to lead this, you help plan for the upcoming sortie, which will add an additional D6 to the plan and prepare move, which we did make in the first sortie. They'll frame a short scene around this, either alone or with characters they have invited. And there's a couple of options there. We'll get to that when somebody picks it. Social space or private quarters. The leading player talks it out with another character and clears a peril of emotional or social origin from them. If they spend time with someone they have gravity with, they may advance it. They frame a short scene around this, either alone or with invited characters. Fade. The leading player describes somewhere on the carrier or nearby that they pass the time, gaining a point of spotlight and advancing a gravity clock if they have one with someone that joins them. They frame a short scene around this, either alone or with the invited characters. That one has like the least options. It's kind of the equivalent of training. Actually, I think it's closer to the equivalent of cutting loose from Beam Saber. You get a point of experience and your relationship with somebody goes up, and that should be fun. Infirmary or hangar. The leading player clears a peril of mechanical or physical origin from a character or construct, or they may swap an Astyr part out for another that they already have. Frame a short scene around this as before. There's a special note on this one. This is when you rush ahead, this doesn't end downtime. Other scenes can still be played chronologically before this one, and the crew might also just not spring into action in your wake. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we'll get to that when we get to it. Hallways or listening post. The leading player overhears something. They may start or advance a long-term project to learn more or take advantage during the next sortie, acting on what they have learned. And then somewhere nearby, the leading player starts or advances a long-term project or acquires something readily available in the nearby area. Equipment, trouble, a good time, etc. And then finally, once everyone has taken their downtime scene, we finish off downtime by setting up the next sortie. Everyone describes what they are doing to help prepare for what is to come. And then we role plan and prepare, and that's where we'll figure out what we're going to do next session. So I know that was a huge amount of information to just dump on everybody, but does anyone have any gut reactions to what you heard and be like, yeah, that's what I want to do?
Well, I already know the mistake that I have to fix.
Yes,
So-
absolutely. That's a thing.
That means I already know which one I have to do. I mean, I don't have to do it, but I should do it.
I just want to double check real quick and see if support characters like Cyril and Dumont have had their what do you call it? You had to create those side rooms that were supposed to affect downtime in a way, give a
Yes.
bonus to it. So I wonder if those have been changed as well. Let me go find out real quick.
Yes.
I don't even remember where that was.
Under playbooks.
Is it under playbooks?
Uh,
Sorry, I should have looked this up beforehand, but I just now realized, oh, that's probably a thing.
Yeah. So my expertise has changed. You're an expert at making and mending. You may perform an extra infirmary or hangar scene during downtime as you repair and mend things around you. Whenever you
Oh,
advance
cool.
a long-term project to build, dismantle, or modify something, advance it twice. So I could, in theory, do that thing twice.
Gotcha. Has the Serenity or the Adranos taken any damage?
Think so.
I want to say the Adranos did, but I don't see it on Kim's sheet, so I could be wrong.
I just took wrist, which was last time.
Okay,
But
cool.
I think I avoided actual peril of damage.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing anything about new like special rooms on the carrier.
That might be in the carrier itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gonna go look that up real quick. Drew, did any of Alexander's moves change that affect downtime?
No, I'm looking through them right now, but I don't think so. It does not look like it currently.
Cool. Okay, carrier. Ooh, this whole thing here on salvaging Astiers. That's got to be cool. I'll read that later.
So they choose a benefit that offers them. Take an extra token when you enter downtime. Increase the carrier's crew by 1. In future, when you work on a long-term project to increase it, reduce the size of the clock by 1 to a minimum of 4. Choose one of your playbook's moves and add +1 to your roll whenever you use it.
Gotcha. Okay. So we can, figure that out here and now as we go in this bit. Based off, I know Cyril's was that room where you had the big inscrutable orbs that allowed you to basically just like make minor mechanical and major cosmetic changes to Astiers, right? You couldn't be like, well, we'll just change this arm into like a sword or a gun, but you could be like, well, the arm looks different now. So what do you think that counts as?
Probably just an extra downtime token.
Right. Which gives you a lot of downtime actions. And then Alexander, yours was
It blah 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 blah. It helps me increase the size of the crew.
right. So that stays the same. It just now you also, when you work on a long-term project, you reduce the size of the clock by 1.
Yes.
All right, cool. Which makes sense. And
that does change the way this works slightly, because initially it was take advantage when working on a project to increase it, but now it's
okay. So now you don't have advantage. It's just you complete them faster, as opposed to it's easier to complete them, which makes sense, I guess, because you just have a lot of hands. Cool. All right. So let's Kit. You've effectively got 3 downtime actions then. Oh no, you just have an extra token. So you still have the 2, the free you get the free hangar or infirmary, and then you just have an extra token to spend for an extra benefit.
Yes.
Cool. So, do we want to open up with you fixing Seisha being out of phase?
Sure.
Cool. We have not. Is this taking place in the infirmary, or is it somewhere else? Where do you have set up to do this? And what's the situation? What's this look like? I'm very curious how you're attempting to fix someone who is out of phase. And I imagine Seisha is also present in this scene. Unless this is Cyril just like working on it alone. Like,
well,
I just gotta brew you a potion. It's fine.
She's also in it, right?
That's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you if Seisha's there.
Well, you're in the Astir, so you're also out of phase. So both Seisha and the Astir are out of phase.
I think after the sortie, the Astir rematerialized.
I did not.
But Seisha did not, was the problem.
Okay.
In just in terms of like making things make sense fictionally, I think like because that apparatus was built, you had built that into it prior, like she could still interact with that and move the Astir around, and like the Astir might still be physical for Seisha, but she gets out of it and is like, okay, I can't touch things, I'm kind of floating, this is weird.
Well, here's my question. Is my familiar also out of... Because he was not in the Astir.
Right. So probably not. He's probably
Okay.
cool. Yeah, and I'm sure
Okay.
you can still interact with him because familiars are like part of your magical soul. So like
Yeah.
yeah, you can still interact
Okay.
with your familiar for sure.
Okay.
Okay. So then it's just since it's just Seisha, she might as well be in. You might as well be in the scene.
Okay.
So we're in my wacky, cool, effervescent workshop. So, Seisha, please, move something to let me know you're here.
So sitting on the infirmary bench is a probably like kitten-sized raccoon. And you just see the raccoon like lift up into the air.
Good, good. Now, this might hurt a lot. I am going to have you hold this wire. And I'm just going to hand her one of the wires coming off of her Astir that's connected to the pack that was on it.
Is this gonna hurt a lot? Can Seisha be heard?
Yeah, Seisha could be heard.
Okay.
I think it's definitely like there's probably moments where the light catches you just right, and we can see like, oh, there's a person there maybe. It's like a shimmer. And you can be heard, you can interact with things still. It's just like you've been phased out in no, maybe you can't interact with most things, like I said, maybe magic stuff or stuff that's adjacent to this, but I think you can still be heard. I also imagine it as if like, well, where's Seisha? You're standing right in front of someone like screaming in their face, and they're like, I think she's 3 rooms over.
Seisha's gonna put Zuli down and say, are you sure this isn't gonna mess with my arm?
Probably yes. No? Maybe. Nope, it won't. You'll be fine.
God, I hope I get hazard pay. And Seisha's
there's no such thing.
gonna close her eyes and reach out with her right hand and grab the wire.
He's just gonna walk around with the next one and then like just shove it into one of those orbs. Okay.
Love it.
I'm gonna count to 3.
Just do it.
1. And then he just pulls it.
Of course. So yeah, based off the way this works, gonna pull up downtime scenes. So for this scene, you can spend a token to clear a peril or swap a part, help someone you have gravity with, advancing it, start or advance a long-term project, describe what your work looks like, take your Astir and rush ahead. You will lead a sortie with defy and advantage.
Who's spending the token, Kit?
I mean, I'll spend a token.
Okay.
All right. So you could spend the token to one of your 3 to just clear the peril. Peril's gone.
Yeah.
Yay!
It works. It works, and you're visible and also steaming. Like there's just steam.
I'm a big fan that there is this game has a lot of mechanics that are Blades in the Dark adjacent. And I'm a big fan that there is not like okay, well, we rolled and we didn't do that great, so you're still invisible for like 3 more sessions. Which is fine in Blades in the Dark. It's supposed to be that way, but like a lot of things that kind of take from it tend to keep the death spiral in, and I'm glad we don't have that here. So yeah, what does it feel like to be what? I guess the question I'm going to ask here, Seisha, is like, what sensation or sense did you just like? You know how when your ears are plugged up for a really long time, you don't notice that you couldn't hear shit. What does it feel like to come back onto this like plane of reality and to like not be half ethereal anymore? What is the thing that just like the sense that hits you first?
Oh wow. I think for just a moment it was almost like the world froze. Like as she's like traveling in between. And the first thing she feels is just like, it's like all the hairs stand up, like there's almost static electricity in the air, because I think either she was like hyper connected to the magical weave or she was completely cut off from it.
Yes.
And it's like as that connection normalizes, it's like all of her nerves are tingling.
Yes. Good.
That's great.
Did you like it?
Do me a favor, Cyril, and leave me out of your magical experiments, okay?
Maybe.
Is there a complaint form I can fill out?
I won't
Complaint
listen.
form.
Where's the feedback? Who's HR?
HR is just Dumorn, and he just looks at you. That's it.
He sits at a desk and looks at you and doesn't make a sound, and you're not entirely sure if he's awake or not.
And Seisha will just like look at Cyril and shake her head and like shake herself out, like make sure everything's still there. And she'll hop off and head out the door, and Zuli will like trail after.
Do either of you want to spend any more tokens here?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I want to work on my cough.
Gotcha. During the scene, anyone may spend a token to choose one, clear a peril, swap apart. Okay, so yes, you can work on your own cough. Sure.
I want to spend a token to make it work now.
Oh, God.
Kit, build yourself some weird
If you were
exterior
in the-
lungs, please.
Yes,
If you were
an
in the
iron lung,
hangar-
please.
If you were in the hangar doing all this, I would totally have made Farina show up and be like, just come over here to my Esther and like just take a seat, just chill.
Caught
But-
between a mad scientist and a cursed witch.
Yeah, it's fine. But you're in the infirmary, so
What could possibly go wrong
I know,
between?
right?
I think what he's gonna do is he is gonna build some weird breathing apparatus
Yes.
that is kind of ties onto hit like it is like a weird metal mask that goes over his mouth and face, but it like is a breathing tube that goes up his nose and down into his lungs.
Okay, hold on. I just want to point. I don't know. We're getting,
One more time.
I support this, but Kit's just gone full tech priest on us.
So yes, that was my first thought. Is like
Yeah.
like Warhammer
Hold the
style,
phone.
just tubes up in there.
Tubes in my nose. I don't
you
use
gotta
my
spray
human
some
lungs.
silver
So
silver-
I guess we're setting like a fictional precedent here, and so I want to ask you about it, Kit, because that's the solution you went to. If you breathe that stuff, is it just like, no, you need new lungs now? or you live with the
Ooh.
consequences?
Ooh.
Or is that just Cyril being like, this is an opportunity?
I can
think
build
it's,
better lungs.
I think it's Cyril. It's more you have a decreased respiratory system. It's not terrible. It's like you develop asthma.
Okay, so like
But this is
there are
just-
long-term effects.
This is just Cyril like, hey, I could do something about this.
sure.
He just
So like the other way this looks is Cyril being like, okay, now I know I have to drink like this certain medicated tea every day and like take these supplements and my lungs will be fine.
Yeah.
Instead, Cyril was like, I'll build new ones.
yeah.
God, Cyril's such a
Why
drama
medicine?
queen.
Why medicine? I could just have new lungs.
Why
Okay,
come rest
sure.
beneath the loving, embrace of
Cyril's
the
just like,
Adrenos?
science.
Right. which the Adrenos can just cure things like this
Yes.
if you just chill underneath it. And Cyril's like,
100%.
nah,
nah.
new lungs.
New
Metal lung.
Reject
New-
science, embrace magic.
metal lungs.
Got it. Okay, cool. So like we know that like there are long-term effects to breathing the miasma. Cool. Not great. Not poisoning your planet, not a good idea.
No, not really. This is what happens when you poison a whole planet. You
You
get somebody with robot lungs.
It's somebody with robot lungs. Okay, so Cyril spent 2 of their tokens. And then do you want to spend any others in that scene, Seisha? You don't have to. You
no, I'm
you can hold
good.
on to him. Okay.
I'm
cool.
good.
So that scene ends. Unless you want to spend your 3rd token in it, Cyril.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Then who has another one?
I'll go because I feel like mine's gonna be real chill.
Okay, cool.
I have to
I-
describe.
I'm sorry, can Dumorn be chill? Is that possible?
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, sure. Fair.
we will guess we'll find out. I'm gonna do fade because Dumorn doesn't really spend time with other people. Unfortunately, he's dealing with a demon ship. So instead, Dumorn spends his time in the. I'm actually going to go into the quarters I built, which is the interior like chapel in this building, like in the
Right.
ship.
The weird. It's a chapel to the ship, right? Like to
Yes.
the Apollyon.
Mhm.
Because the crew here are priests and worshippers in their
Yes.
own way, which actually makes me beg the question. Now that I realized I never asked you this before. Was the Apollyon ever alive in the sense that it might have been a giant creature, or was it always a big ship made out of a crab shell? I guess, was it made to look this way, or was it built in the remains of something?
Oh, it was built in the remains of something.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
totally normal thing.
Yeah, don't think about it too hard because it's terrible.
Don't think about it too
Terrifying.
hard because it might hear you.
It might hear you because it is listening. But yeah, Dumorn's just sitting in this interior like circular room, and there's this big. It's not an altar per se. It's like part of the Apollyon ship, but it kind of like pulses with this like dull red light, almost like a heartbeat.
Mhm.
And the priests and cultists that kind of run the Apollyon also come in here and sit, and Dumorn sits by himself in that wonderful trope of the character sitting in a Catholic church just staring.
Yes,
Yeah, that-
100%.
But he's just by himself because the other cultists don't really bother him here. And he doesn't really do, and he just sits because he just kind of talks to the ship. And the ship makes demands of him, and he kind of just passes his time doing that. It's not very interesting, but that is what he would do.
I want to spend a
Which-
token sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, which scene is this?
Oh, this is Fade.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you gain a point of spotlight.
And then Kim's gonna ruin it with her being there.
It's the leading player describes somewhere on the carrier or nearby they pass time, gaining a point of spotlight and advancing a gravity clock if they have one with someone that joins them. They frame a sort of a short scene around this, which you did, either alone or with invited characters. During the scene, anyone may spend a token to choose one. Pass time as above. So anyone else can do basically spend a token to also participate in gaining an experience and advancing a gravity clock
and sitting silently
Yes,
and worshiping a possible monster.
Sure
Yes, and other players may force into a scene at the cost of one of their tokens. And I have a gravity clock with Dumorn that specifically says I think I can save him from the ship. So
yes, so this is a perfect example to do that. But first, let's throw a spotlight on you, Drew. So Dumorn gains that spotlight, which is the equivalent of experience in this game.
Yes, okay. It is on my character sheet now.
Yes. Once you have 6 spotlight, you may spend it to take center stage immediately and gain an advancement. And then the follow-up question I have with you, I'm going to go to Demorn here, is do you have a gravity clock with the ship?
I had thought about it, but I never actually took one because I was going to talk to you about it. But I'm definitely open to one.
I was going to say, this might be the time to be like, yeah, you've got one with the ship and we can advance it here. If you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like it because the ship is supposed to be a semi-living entity, if not like a full-on.
Sure. So because you can have gravity clocks with NPCs. So yeah, with the I'm going to put that in here. You have a gravity clock with the Apollyon. I am never going to spell that the same way twice because I am the worst.
Apollyon.
Apollyon. I will forget it by the next time.
That's fine.
That's not true. What's the nature of your relationship with the Apollyon? To describe it, like, again, going both ways.
Yeah. Let me think how to put this into words because I just this was a full anime game. And
like
the Apollyon
soulbound.
Yes, actually that sums it up very neatly.
Right, because like you are it and it is you in like the weirdest of ways that we've talked about a little bit off mic.
Yes,
and I don't know how much of that like you want to divulge or whatever, so I'll leave that up to you, but soulbound feels like the right thing here.
I like it. Yes. I like that. It's a very good term for this.
Advancing gravity clocks. Then we'll get to you interrupting the scene.
How do we do this?
Yeah, gravity clocks. This is the first time we've really dealt with one. When a gravity clock is filled, is not filled, we are advancing it. There's 6 segments and they start empty. So yeah, we're gonna mark just one on there. Yeah, cool. So when it fills is the fun part because you get to commit, redefine, or abandon, and I am very interested to see what that's going to look like for Dumorn. Cool, but yeah. Well, how does Farina interrupt this scene?
I think she enters and she has her familiar Incendus with her. It's like perched on her shoulder.
Incendus is a.
It's Incendus takes the form of a small flame and it kind of changes. He changes his shape daily. So I can't remember what we described it as last time.
It's Calcifer.
It's basically
Calcifer.
It's Calcifer. He just does whatever he wants. And I think we described the nature of like her relationship with Dumorn as like the annoying sibling, and she kind of feels like, oh, she can save him from the ship because she thinks like, oh, I understand like what it's like to be connected to something, but she kind of senses like, oh, this is not right. Whereas she knows her relationship with Flaris is something that's good. This is not good. So she walks up and maybe sits like the row behind Dumorn, or like one or two rows behind, and is just kind of quietly talking and or talking to him, and says, you know, it's not good to be alone.
Dumorn sits up a little bit straighter and turns just to look over his shoulder at Farina.
You know, there's plenty of people here to talk to.
Talking feels cumbersome.
Well, that's true. But sometimes, you know, all you have to do is start a conversation, and there's plenty of people here who will fill in the gaps.
But why talk when I can simply think? And things will work themselves out.
Well, that doesn't sound as fun. Sometimes the joys in life come from the unexpected.
I've played with the unexpected before. It led me to a ship and a crew, neither of which I wanted.
Damn.
Ouch. Daddy doesn't love us anymore.
Rude.
Well, there's ways to help with that, to quell those thoughts.
Such as?
Magic, or a friend, someone to talk to.
I am talking to three people at this moment. It is oftentimes difficult to keep one conversation separate from the next.
And you think I'm not doing something at least a little similar? I have this one, and you, and the one that I listen to as well.
Somehow I don't think it's in the same league.
Really?
I don't believe that your God puts the same pressures on you.
Interesting. Interesting you think that. When you know that that Aster I pilot will probably kill me.
Well, we all die at least once.
There is something like a deep moan that you hear, almost like the sound of a whale that is emanating from this room. And I think the way we get that is it starts, and then like wherever Seisha and Cyril are on the ship, they're like, "What the hell was that?"
It's pretty much at this point that that Dumorn stands up and faces Farina entirely and says, "If you'll excuse me, I have duties to attend to," and just kind of wanders off down the hallway.
I am advancing your gravity clock with each other.
Yep.
Because it's Farina's. And Farina, you can take a point of spotlight.
Will do.
Okay. That was cool. So we've done 2 scenes. Do we have 2 others? I am kind of feeling weird about the fact that I get to interrupt your scenes and make them a failure because I'm like, why would I want to do that in these situations? I think maybe for planning or something.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
But for me to have 4 of them feels like a lot. Okay, so let's see. Dumorn still has 1 token. Farina still has 1 token.
Actually, I don't think I do because
you don't.
Because I interrupted and then I used it for there, so I'm done.
Right.
Which that's actually fine because I was gonna do fade with Dumorn anyway. So when Drew picked it, I was like, that worked out.
It just worked out. So you used both of yours. So Farina has none. Dumorn has 1. Cyril has 1. And Seisha has both of theirs still. Yes. So we still need Farina and Seisha to lead a scene.
Ooh, I just freaked the cat out. I would like a scene in a social space. I'm thinking it's like whatever passes as the cafeteria.
Sure. Just FYI, this can be off the ship.
Okay. Yes.
It doesn't have to be on it. It just has to be somewhere near where you are. I don't know where the ship is currently docked. We have a couple of regions here where there is little to no grip.
We did clear a region.
I think you dropped the underdock to 0.
Yes.
Which is where like the underdock, as a reminder, is where all of the like most dangerous work done by the people in the Lev works. It's technically a whole other area, is where they have like built a ramshackle city that hangs off the bottom of this place. And it's not that you are welcome there, it's that there is no authority there to oppose you. So people can't do anything when the Apollyon's just like, hey, we're chilling. So if you guys want to hang out in Underdock or Jewel Wake, which is the other 0 place, I think that's probably fine for now. Or I'm going to dangerous places. That's fun too. But yeah, social place. There's definitely in that people case, gotta eat. People gotta eat. So
in that case, no, I think it's. Did we establish any locations in the Underdocks?
No, Underdock was kind of a little. I don't believe. I love that I just have our fucking. I'm sorry. Did you say Street Magic game in such a nice little area, and I can go.
No, I think that was one that
Underdock was just created.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like it's Levworks adjacent. You can definitely get to the Levworks through it.
Okay. I think it's like a street cart maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main crew has offloaded and is like everyone's gone off to get food. Seisha and Armo have gone to get lunch, like some street meat.
You're on camera.
So they've like grabbed some food, found a place to sit. Zuli is like running around nearby chasing whatever creatures live there, like rats or mice or what have you.
Rice. Obviously, rat mice.
Oh.
Oh,
like
of course.
Grains of...
There go the rice.
Yeah.
Moving around.
Are there ants in my rice?
Listen, it was either going to be rice or mats, but neither of them were good.
It's your rice mats here. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
This is clearly a cages full of rodents. Go on.
Thank you for entertaining that.
And so they got street meat on a stick, because Seisha, her left arm is completely like immovable. She lost part of it in an accident, quote unquote. And so Seisha just like stares off into the distance and says, "Are they always going to be like that?"
Armo is like eating, just shoveling food in, and I think it's like, who?
I mean, all of it, the fighting, and I was like invisible.
Armo's he him, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's like, well, Cyril's work is a little out there, but it's good work. And unfortunately, sometimes, look, we can't play by the rules. We have less resources. We have less people. We have less firepower. And unfortunately, that means we got to take some risks. We got to figure out what works and what doesn't. But, I mean, yeah. Are they always going to be like that? The fighting? Was that I guess you went to school with them, but was that your first time seeing an Archon in action?
I mean, they would do demonstrations and things for class, but yeah.
It's different, isn't it? You see them in their parades and their exercises, the military drills, things to make the people think, wow, look at them go. Their willpower, they can bind a demon into a machine, and their faith is so strong. But
I mean, it was all I ever wanted.
how do you? Is that a cat?
That's my cat snoring. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Sorry.
That's adorable.
She's tucked up against my chest right now, snoring.
That is the sweetest thing. I was like, am I having an audio issue? No, it's a snoring cat, and that is so cute.
That's precious.
Absolutely precious.
See if I can do this without disturbing her.
Sweet baby. Oh, such a sweet baby.
So.
Armo's like, what about now?
I mean, it's confusing. I mean, obviously, it's not what I can't have it anymore, but a part of me still misses it, I guess. I mean, it's like having your world turned upside down in one day. Everything you thought was black and white is just horror. I mean, I was a part of that.
Well, now you're part of something bigger, better. Well, maybe not bigger, but definitely better. Look, what we do, what you do. You're one of our only Astir pilots. We don't have a lot of them. Between you and Seisha, well, that's all the Apollyons got. We're working on getting more. But the Remoras, they can put up a good fight. But you two are our firepower. And now that you know what we're up against, now that you know what you used to be a part of, it's your choice whether or not you want to keep going down this road and fight against it. You see what they become, and you see the price we all got to pay to fight back. I don't blame you if you want to walk off that ship and try to live something like a normal life. But you got to understand that for so many of us, that isn't an option. And if you choose to fight this fight, we're going to get hurt and we're going to lose people. I guarantee you that. But we're gonna make it so that that doesn't happen to others anymore. We're gonna make this a better place, or at least die trying.
I mean, what more do I have to lose? And she's gonna like bump him with her shoulder. I mean, in it till the end, right?
Armo like finishes whatever he's drinking, is like, till the end. I think he toasts till the end,
Yeah.
and then finishes what he's drinking. Okay, so anything else you want there? Or
No, that's it.
That's a good scene. Okay, cool. So social space or private quarters. You may clear an emotional or social peril, which you don't have.
No, I get.
But you
to
spend time
advance
with
in a
someone, so you
gravity
get
clock.
to advance the gravity clock frame a short scene route, which we did. During the scene, anyone may spend a token to choose one. Talk it out and clear someone else's peril, which isn't needed. Encourage or demoralize someone. They make their first move during a sortie added with advantage. Can
I'm gonna
I
advance that gravity clock.
hold
baby.
up? When they spend theirs, they
advance
may
that
refocus
gravity
the scene.
So there's a cat currently on my keyboard, so I'm gonna need you to do that for me.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Thanks.
Still
She
hold
only
on.
does this when we're streaming.
It's an interesting read here, and I'm not entirely sure what Briar's intention is. But like, it says anyone may spend a token. I'm anyone.
True. I'll use my token to negate your token.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. They may refocus the scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a token here to encourage you.
Okay.
You're going to make your first move with advantage. I'm going to spend my token to do that. It doesn't say I can't. And like, I want to buy into being a fan of the players. So far, nothing has come up where I'm like, I want to fucking gut punch y'all and like take that away, because these are very personal things that I'm enjoying. And also this is our first time with Downtime, so I don't want to just be like immediately be a dick about it.
How lovely of you.
What do you think this is? Band of Blades?
Yeah, like right, like that's the thing. This is not Band of Blades, where I would absolutely be like,
Looks so
and then
offended.
Armo dies.
Yeah, and then there's an
Because a zombie
explosion.
was there. Like that, two totally different games.
Suddenly,
Then- Then we would betray everybody and cause the
Yeah.
whole legion to
Yes.
disband.
What
I'll
a
stab you
fun ending
all
to a
in the
game
back.
that was.
So
depressing.
depressing.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna spend one of my tokens to give you that advantage. And you get to advance your gravity clock with Armo. Does anyone else want to spend a token here?
I don't have any. So
You still get to lead a scene though, Kim.
I don't have any tokens though.
But it doesn't matter. You still get the benefits
Oh.
of the scene.
Yeah.
Okay,
A
that's
scene
fair.
gives you a standard benefit even if you don't have
That's
a token
fair.
to spend.
Gotcha.
Which is cool because it means you could do exactly what you did and like capitalize on another
True.
scene and gain the benefits still.
That's true.
Hold on,
Okay.
I might want to do something terrible.
Please do something terrible if you want to do something terrible. I might do something terrible. Sips.
I kind of want to spend a token to press Fab into rewriting a hook.
Hmm. Well, it's real quick, Fav, just because we're on the topic. What are your hooks?
I will prove the Academy is wrong about magic by beating the Arcanate in battle. The death of my classmates is my fault. I'll never atone for it. I don't know my place in the world. Will I ever have one again?
That will be a good one to rewrite now.
Yeah.
I
With
think
the
yeah.
with the taking the toast and
Yeah.
to the end, I think you might have just found your place. But that's like so the thing is like, is this the moment where we see you commit to that? And I think that's interesting and I like it. But that is a big shift in character for Seisha. So you can rewrite that however you want. Drew can press you into rewriting a hook.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be that one.
I mean, I agree. I think that's the one that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll change it like drastically.
Sure. As long as you rewrite the hook, I think that's the spirit of
maybe
it.
instead of I don't know my place, I think I'm finding my place.
Yes.
So it's not a total shift. It's more of a
It's less despondent and more hopeful.
Yes.
Yes.
To me, being like I am going to like maybe it's not I don't know my place. It's I'm going to find my place.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. That's hopeful.
If that shifts it from like feeling lost to exploring a space that you were once lost in, and at least that's how I'm interpreting it. But again, Fav, it's up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And as always here, like you could just straight up say no. Like
fuck that.
We have that freedom here and that level of we should be comfortable with each other. Again, this is not like this is a different buy-in than Band of Blades, where like make 20 characters because you're gonna lose 19 of them. Which is such a fun space to play in, but this is not that game.
I mean, I think collectively you all lost roughly the same amount of characters I've lost in my years of playing games.
I do have a Cursive Strahd book with like 6 character signatures in it just from Drew, so
you
I
blew
can
up
attest to
my
this.
cow parents that I never got to play. They just became Hamburger.
To be fair, I didn't blow them up. Someone else did. That.
It was my fault. It was my role.
How many characters did Kit blow up in that game alone?
I think it was pretty much himself 3 times.
Yes.
Band of Blades is fantastic. If you want to run a game that is essentially always a funnel.
If you just like murdering your own characters.
You just want to be a murder hobo? That game.
If you love resource management and being sad.
That's a good game. Big really fun.
Is.
Okay, so Fab, when you have that rewritten, let us know. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with who has tokens to spend.
I have
one.
So everyone but
yep.
but
Kim. And
Farina,
Kim is the last one.
And Kim, Farina's the last one to set a scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 3 tokens left. I just don't know if I'm supposed to always be spending those or what. Yeah. I'm not certain. I'm gonna ping Briar on that on Twitter after this and be like, hey, can you clarify the extent to which I should be using these?
How much should I take away from my players?
Right. And
tokens.
Like being a fan of my players is a big thing for me, and I don't want to just be like, oh, by the way, no, fuck you, which can be fun sometimes, absolutely, when we all buy into the concept. Yeah. But like being able to negate 4 of your tokens seems odd. I think there's definitely a level of like I should also be contributing to these. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so since I don't have any tokens, I'm really torn on what to do. Which is fine.
It's just whatever you want the benefit of, basically. Do you want to start a long-term project or maybe get some information?
That's an interesting idea, actually. So I was thinking the selfish option with Fade, but that's a bad idea. Don't be selfish.
That's not a bad idea. That's the equivalent of like, that's just taking training twice in...
Yeah, well, because I was thinking Fade and just like self-reflection and talking into Flareus, but which is good character development for Farina, but there is interesting things to do with from that angle.
Well, one of the things Fade allows is anyone else can just spend their token to also fade.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of opening it up for other people to also get experience, which is totally fine and fun. I think at this point we've got some token. This is like the last scene, so we've got some tokens to burn.
Right.
So this is pretty much 3 tokens are gonna have to be dropped on this. So if you do fade, like everyone's just gonna get experience right here, and it started advancing clocks. If you do other stuff, I think kind of pick the things you want to see people spending tokens on. Again, this is our first downtime, so maybe we're not fully aware of like how it works, and people will be like, shit, I wish I would have spent tokens on that other thing.
Right.
could be fun.
This is
so
the
we'll figure it
downtime
out.
to fuck up.
Yeah, this is the downtime to fuck up. Like, fuck up this downtime.
Right. Shit. God, I really don't know what I want to do. Because I have one thing I wanted to do, and then it's like, shit.
Mental pop-ups on the Apollyon.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is so.
Have you tried crabs?
Do you want to be crabs?
Did you know that the insurance policy on your steer has expired?
Ow.
Oh,
Here to
no.
renew it.
Would
Just
you like
kidding.
to extend your warranty?
The authorities trying to contact you about your taxes. It's really important. We will take action against you. We
Hot
need
witches
it.
in your area.
Oh my god.
And Arcanate would like to send you $7 million gold.
Fantastic. Horrible ads. Just awful mental space.
You need to pay us in potion gift cards.
Yes.
Could you
There-
go get a potion gift card and send me a picture of it?
Is there anywhere on the Apollyon that is like it can't touch you?
No,
No.
it is maybe on the outside. If you were
Not
on
even the toilet.
Um,
on top of it.
But it is very much kind of otherworldly. And what I want to make sure is like, if there are people who are uncomfortable with the concept, is there a space here where they could be like, look, I don't want that thing in my fuck. It doesn't feel like it's super intrusive for
No.
one. Like it's
Yeah.
much more linked to Demorne than it is anyone else. It's not like constantly reading your thoughts, right?
No.
There-
It's way more linked to Demorne. It's sort of like it's aware that there are other
Sure.
beings in it, but it communicates with Demorne more than anything
And
else.
for the cultists who want that kind of relationship, I think it's there that like, this thing is in my brain and I talk to it or at least feel it out.
Yeah.
Is for sure a thing. I think for the rest of you, what I'm gonna say, if Drew is okay with this and Drew could veto it or whatever, is like occasionally you get the sensation that you're being watched.
Yeah, that's
Um,
probably about as much attention as it would pay to somebody who's not
part of the cults.
or not giving it attention.
Or not
basically.
giving it
You're not.
attention.
They're
Okay,
not.
cool.
You're not actively seeking its attention, so it kind
Right.
of might focus on them for a moment and then be like, okay, what's over here now?
Sure. Okay. So just to be like, it's not constantly probing all of y'all's brains because that could be uncomfortable.
It sounds like a
Um,
cat.
Yes, think a giant
It's like there's a giant cat that just is watching you all the time.
all the time. Wants to know what you're doing, where you're at, where you're going. When are you gonna put down wet food?
That's the big one. The Apollyon really loves its wet food,
Really loves the wet food.
which
Don't
is
like
just
that.
Dumorn.
Don't like that.
Okay, Farina, where are we at? Have you found anything?
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna do private quarters, but the way I imagine this is that instead she is sitting in the cockpit of the Adrenos
Sure.
with Incendus, and more so just having like a conversation sort of with Incendus, but also like in a way like Flaris, because sometimes it's like, well, am I talking to like Incendus or is it like, am I talking to Flaris? Because Flaris
Right.
sometimes communicates like through Incendus.
Well, if magic is if your familiar is an extension of the magical portion of your soul, as we've
Right.
discussed, and your soul is linked to this thing,
Yeah.
then in some way there is a bleed over.
Right.
Sure. What's this conversation about? And do you want me to play either of those characters?
Yes. And you can decide if it's more supposed to be Incendus or more supposed to be Flaris, or going back and forth between the two.
Sure.
And I think the conversation is sort of circulating around the battle and sort of just like reaffirming what she's doing, like with the fight.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
just,
people,
like,
a lot of people
her place.
questioning whether they're in the right place today.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I just imagine that since we have tokens to burn, everyone, just to catch all the invited characters, everyone is partaking of activities in their own private quarters.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I
Or,
mean,
they can just jump in on the private quarters thing and interrupt my thing.
well, like the way
burn it.
spending
So,
the
yeah.
tokens on this
Yeah.
works is like the other thing you can do is this could just be like, okay, in addition,
Yeah.
Dumorn can spend a token to be like giving Cyril a pep talk or something,
Yeah.
and giving therefore they have advantage. Rewriting hooks, spending time with someone with gravity is going to be a big thing here. So sure, we'll latch onto yours first. You get to you advance the gravity with Flaris here, or with yes.
It's my gravity specifically with Flaris, yeah.
Yes. So you get to advance the gravity clock here. I'm going to mark that. You got a 1. And I think this is like instead just like moving. What's your cockpit look like? Have we talked about that?
I think I described it as it is a seat, and then she has the it's like the handles where she twists and turns them, but like when she's moving them, it's as if she's conducting, but it's definitely like a handle that she is grabbing to like move the arms, but she is seated when she is sitting there.
Stop it.
So I think there are like maybe some copper pipes or tubes or something, and like this is kind of like moving and flitting about from one to another, and you can just like feel the heat in this place. I imagine your cockpit is very hot all the time. And I think Incendus is very much like, well, I think your performance was admirable. You were only on the back foot once, and that was was that your first encounter with an Archon? Like in the battlefield?
I believe so. Yeah. I think it would be for her. Yeah, she's probably fought several of the smaller
Sure,
before,
sure. Like the knights, the ones who don't have demons bound into there. I think Incendus is like, well, we're very impressed considering that was your first encounter with even a lesser Archon. Then again, they bind their demons tight.
I did sort of lose myself in the middle of everything, but I guess you're right. I didn't do that bad.
On the contrary, and I think like Incendus gets a little darker here and is like, your only fault was not finishing the job.
I did want to, but we completed the mission. We have to pull back. It's strategy. There are rules to this sort of thing.
You won a battle, but you could have prevented future battles. Then again, fire does need fuel. You should let the Archon of Dawn's continued existence be yours. Channel that and burn brighter.
I'm gonna use a token.
Sure, yeah.
I can use a token just to like insert myself, right?
You have to spend 1 to force yourself into the scene. Yes. Okay. Which like this is in the cockpit. So are you just like bonk bonk? What's going on in there?
So Farina hears a little scratching sound. And you see a little like squirrel-sized raccoon with a cookie in its hand that just comes like running into the cockpit, and down below you hear Seisha going, Sully, come back with that.
Farina looks at it and like scoops it up and like opens the door.
Zuli
And-
offers out a bite of the cookie.
I think Incendus like slither is the word I want to use here, even though I don't. It doesn't slither like a snake slithers, but it is flame up onto your shoulders and is like, you know, you are a role model. How far do you think you can push her? Can you make her the weapon she needs to be?
Zuli's gonna hiss.
And then I'm gonna step back and let you two have the rest of this have the rest of the scene.
I think
Zul, come on!
before Verena opens the door, she kind of looks at him and says, "Even you know that we have to balance our magic. The brightest of us burn out the quickest." And then she opens the door and says, "Hey, Seisha, you lost this."
You lost
Sorry.
this part of your soul.
Just running around.
She's gonna put a hand to her head. I'm so sorry. We're working on personal space and boundaries. But he's got a bit of a sweet tooth, and you know, he's getting kind of fat. So.
Oh, chubby little raccoon.
Chubby little raccoon. I'm sorry.
How does it get fat when it's part of your soul? I don't understand. Does it eat? How does it eat separately of you?
I try not to think about it too much. You know, I mean, he's part of my soul, but also like an independent spirit.
Verena just looks at it and tears. It's like, and then she looks at it, it's like, your magic works very differently from mine.
Yeah, yours is a little. I hope he didn't interrupt you or anything.
No, it's okay. The conversation was tense. He offered me a bite of the cookie, but I wasn't sure what was in it. Do I drop him or should I come down?
You can he can get down on his own. No, you know what? You should probably bring him down because he'll just chewing, you know, wires and things like that.
She like tucks him under her arm and starts to climb down.
Just chewing away on the cookie. Yeah, thanks. You can just I'll take him.
Here you go. Hands him over.
She'll like tuck him into the crook of her left arm. Great job out there.
Yeah, you too. I couldn't see for like the second half of it, but you got the vicar. So that's great.
Yeah, Cyril's tech went a little weird, and I don't know where I went. I was here, but I wasn't, and it was just I don't recommend it, honestly.
No, that's why I don't let him touch. So I don't let him touch the Adrenos.
I mean, the Serenity is technically his, so but that's I mean
the
it's
obligation. I understand.
Yeah, I mean it's a really cool steer you've got.
Oh, yeah, my great grandfather built it. It's been in the family ever since.
That's cool. Well, I'm sure you were busy. She's gonna start like backing up. You know, just okay, thanks, bye. She's gonna like mutter down to Zuli. I told you. No, you can't do that. We're trying to make friends. Gosh. And she'll like scurry out of the hangar.
Love it. Okay. So you just forced yourself into the seed. You don't have another token to spend to do other things. That's just what you
just
did.
for funsies.
Just for funsies.
Gotcha. Okay, so Dumorn and Cyril still have a token left. Do you want to spend it to do either one of the scene effects?
Yes.
Actually, that's pretty much what you have to do, or you could just force yourself into the scene.
I am going to spend it to spend time with someone I have a gravity clock with, and that would be Dumorn.
Yeah, spend time with someone you have gravity clock with, advancing it. Cool. What's the scene?
Dumorn's like, all these people are talking to me. I don't like friends.
I am just going to... Wherever Dumorn is, Cyril's just going to be not far behind with a cup of coffee and just standing there beside him. Just watching.
Following him?
Just following him.
Let me think where Dumorn is in this case then.
He's just gonna, like, force this awkward friendship.
I have become your friend by way of standing nearby.
Sometimes that's how it works.
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's you're wearing the same pants or your mothers both have the same name, you know?
Artha!
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming from someone. I wasn't going to be the one to do it.
Why would you say her name?
Why did you say her name? Actually, in this case, Dumorn is in not a bridge because there is no bridge, but just as a fun little segue, Dumorn's in the planning room, which is just a big open room with a thing that functions as a table.
Right, we've talked about the fact there's not really a bridge, but there are weapon stations and workstations.
Yes.
Dumorn is the bridge.
Yes, Dumorn is the bridge.
In effect. Again, it's that psychic link that the Apollyon has created between Dumorn itself and the crew.
I wish
terrifying.
I literally before stream put my coffee mug in the kitchen. I wish I had it. He just kind of awkwardly is holding his coffee mug and like pushing / touching the table like, so is this how you talk to it? Like, how does that work? Just kind of like poking the table.
Are you asking how the table works? Like, so that I, as a person, know what you're asking.
I'm asking if the table is how you talk to the ship.
Ah, okay.
That's what he's asking.
Okay. Dumorn looks up from this, like, clearly there's a map of the city with spread across this big thing that works as a table, and it's got units and stuff on it, like little pieces.
Is it just like a paper map?
No, that's boring. I think it's the thing that that's boring. The thing that is a lump that is a table has like cephalopoded into being a colored map. So it's changed
like octopus skin.
Yes.
So
like
it's changed texture. Oh my, that's
yes.
I was thinking something along those lines, but like, what if it was like sand that was like making itself into castles or something? But that's more horrifying.
You should be uncomfortable to be in the Apollyon.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Apollyon is uncomfortable no matter where you are.
And Cyril's not, and that's worrisome.
I think like the hangar is probably the only place that is not uncomfortable because so many people have made it their own because everywhere else is uncomfortable.
There's a reason Farina sleeps in the Adrenos.
Right. It's great. I love this horrifying ship we're in.
I think Cyril sleeps in a different place every night.
Seisha has an apartment, so
bye.
Seisha just lives in the city.
She does. She has an apartment in the roads.
But back on, Dumorn looks up from this table that very clearly is the city, and you can't see his face because it's behind a mask, but it has the attitude of what? No, this is a map. You know what maps are, yes?
I'm not stupid.
I know that, but that wasn't meant to be that. This is just a map. It doesn't talk through the map.
Was it the mask?
I can't say no to that. It might be.
Hmm.
That part I'm not 100% sure about.
Just eyes you and just.
Why are you so concerned with my
Oh, it's not
connection?
concern. It's if I know how this works. Think of the possibilities with Astirs.
I am going to say it would be terrible.
It would be amazing.
I love Cyril.
Functionally, it might make them faster. But then you would have a thing living in your brain.
Yes.
Oh, you're fine with that. You're okay with things living in your brain that don't belong there.
Have you not seen my face recently?
Are you talking about the new robot lungs?
Why, yes.
Yes, I've noticed those.
Are those bulky? Do you wear them as a backpack, or how does
it's more
that
just
work?
like it's kind of like just a rebreather.
Okay,
It just
cool.
Forces
cool.
the lungs to work.
Gotcha. Is that
This is
super
not that
uncomfortable?
No, it's not. But he doesn't care.
Okay.
This is not the game, but would love a steampunk game where it's a backpack that belches smoke. It's my lungs.
Just
How does that help you? It's just smoke.
the smoke's just the byproduct of the motor that works the bellow.
Of course. So you can't stay inside for very long. You will kill yourself.
Oh
Dear
Lord.
God.
So no, people don't like things in their brain.
But with the help of science, I could change that.
Are you saying you could make them like it?
Maybe.
Okay, that feels very weird to me. You know what? I'm going to spin my token here, and I'm going to give Cyril a pep talk since we're already here. So, I think this is a bold strategy. I think you should focus on making sure our two austere are functional for the upcoming mission.
Oh, I have. I invented this.
I was going to say, did you get Seisha out of...
Oh, yes. Oh, she's fine. She's a little steamy, but...
Did you cook her?
Oh, no. I just electrocuted her. She's fine.
Oh, okay.
But now I added something new. I call it
What?
the Mega Down.
Okay, and what is the Mega Down?
I don't know, but it's a button.
So you've put a button on an austere.
I did.
Is it just it's Seisha gets in her cockpit, there's no big red button that says press this.
I am impressed with your work, Cyril. There are times where even I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I don't know either.
That's concerning.
So this table,
Yes.
just a map,
Well, it can do other things.
but not
And then
talk.
And the map disappears and reforms just in it. The texture changes into the word "high."
Oh,
he
Lord.
he drops his mug and runs.
I do not like that. That's a great end to that scene, though. Okay, so wait, are you cool with ending it there?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you short. I just thought that was a good ending point. I'm adoring Cyril and adoring getting to see Dumorn interact with other people. Everybody was great tonight. Actually, it was just fantastic across the board. So before we move into the final step, just to finish it up, I advanced your clock with Cyril. Just about everyone advanced a gravity clock tonight, which is great. And we're going to be advancing those in play a little more once I am like now that I can build a session around that idea. Fav, you have Seisha has advantage on the first move she makes in the next sortie, and Cyril does as well. Thank you, Dumorn, for that one. So the final thing we do is to plan the sortie, which we're gonna at the very least get some ideas here and get into this bit.
Yes.
Once everyone has taken their downtime scene, finish off the downtime period by setting up the next sortie. Everyone describes what they're doing to help prepare for what is to come, and then rolls plan and prepare. Plan and prepare is when you review orders for the next sortie, go over the scouting reports and maps, or otherwise attempt to prepare the crew for what comes next. You're trying to plan and prepare, roll 2d6 plus any extra dice earned during the downtime scene, which we haven't earned any extras, and compare the results to the stake of the division that your next sortie will target. So let's talk about that real quick. What do y'all want to do next?
Oh boy.
That's a question.
If you go to the factions tab, you can see all of the enemy factions that you're up against from the Order of Parsoon. There's the Arcanate, the Hall of Meisters, and the Order of Rectification of Injustice. And then their keys are specific assets and people that they have that you can sort of target. The higher the stake, the harder it is to hit them. So the way this move kind of works is for every result on the D6, which at this point is 2, that is above the division stake, you get a bonus. So hitting someone of a lower stake, such as the Order of Rectification of Injustice, is going to be easier as opposed to hitting like the Hall of Meisters, which is the sort of enemy faction that has probably the most resources. Fictionally, the Arcanate is probably the most powerful individually, but the Hall of Meisters is definitely working with a lot of resources there. And you could even come up with something else and be like, oh, this is kind of what we want to hit, and it might be adjacent to one of these things, so we can talk about that too. So it just all depends on what you all want to do. And if we find that this is too big a question, we could talk about it off mic and end the session early. Because I totally get that. There's a little bit of analysis paralysis here for sure. You're looking at 3 different factions. Or divisions, they're called. Factions are what you have.
I'm reading them over and trying to think as a personal thought of which might be the best to hit.
And there's also like, what's fun?
Yeah,
We haven't dealt with the Order of Rectification of Injustice a lot yet. I mean, technically the first one was against them at the Iron Tower. But like we did get that really fun group of students infiltrating the headmistresses.
I was gonna say,
which was very fun.
What if we followed up on that?
Yeah.
Right.
Stole something from someone.
Like,
I was gonna say, what if we like hit a stockpile somewhere?
Same. Some
cool.
resources
So
yeah.
They've got stockpiles of magical resources. Sure,
Yeah.
you could maybe that group, which was Professor Edward Pike, Cassandra Dorn, Agnes Kilorem. I'm not sure I put that down right.
Nope, that's right.
So okay. She's the one with the cybernetic goat.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Elena Armstrong,
Mhm.
like they were the ones who got you they got in and got the research on stuff.
Right,
And
we saw a clock on that.
yeah, there was a clock on that. So maybe introduce or improve a magical design, which I think like the thing you found out is they were trying to, what were they trying to do? Did we even know, or was it just like they're working on shit?
They were
They
working
were
on shit, I think,
yeah.
and we had to
Oh.
uncover that, I think.
If
right?
I believe what you found out they were working on, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe if I was mistaken, maybe this is what comes through, is that 4-step clock is them attempting to, now having like seen a little bit of it, and because they know who Seisha is to a degree, they are trying to replicate Seisha's prosthetics as a means of
That's what it
more
was, yeah.
advanced control of the Astirs for the Arcanate.
Shit.
Or rather, maybe being able to put more people who are not Archons in Astirs.
Mm.
And kind of bridge the gap. Like Archons are obviously better because they can bind demons into theirs, but the others are like still learning, and so maybe that what they're trying to do is like, well, if we can give them those cool prosthetics, they won't need to bind demons. So that's a thing they're trying to do, and they've got a clock that's working on that. So maybe, yeah, if you want to hit one of their stockpiles of magical resources, that would be a cool sortie. I'm down for that.
Excellent.
I think it would be great. I say let's do it. Let's
All
wreck their house.
So you're not hitting every stockpile.
I know.
Well, actually, sorry, that was a question.
Oh,
Are you not hitting every stockpile,
no.
or are you like, this is a coordinated, we found out where the stockpiles are?
So I imagine it's something like whatever research was stolen out of the office, like mentioned a location that has like a crystal stockpile.
Gotcha.
Or
Cool.
some sort of resource that is important to the work that they're doing.
Right. And so like
Right.
if you can hit that and get that, then you have it.
Yes.
Perfect.
And it interferes with whatever.
Yeah,
they're
it
doing.
interferes with them too. Love that. So everyone describes what they're doing to help prepare for what is to come. What are you doing to help prepare? And this just is like a sentence or two of like what your character is up to.
Dumorn is still at the map table
Mm-hmm.
and is pointing out, is like motioning and talking about which way, like the plan of attack, like how they're going to hit the stockpile,
Mm-hmm.
and where the known defenses are.
Sure.
I think Seisha is there as well, and she's sharing insight onto like, well, this is how we were trained to do this, and a good way to slip through it is that, and just sort of sharing her own intel.
Right. Like these are the standard magical defenses that are going to be
Yeah.
present.
Mm-hmm.
And if when we used to sneak out of the dorms, you could confuse them with a very simple spell.
Mm-hmm.
Or some shit like that. I love that. That's great. That's fantastic. Cyril.
Cyril is working on his upgrade that he's installing into the Serenity.
Love it. I love that Seisha specifically was like, please stop fucking with the Serenity, and you're like, no. Especially because the way that move works is like, I mean, obviously anyone can just be like, no, like veto shit, but I definitely think that Fav is on board with the idea, even though Seisha's not. So big fan.
This one's gonna be really cool, and you won't go invisible.
Love it. All right, what is Farina up to?
I think she's splitting her time listening to Seisha give like the briefing for like the magical wards, trying to figure out, okay, how can she override those with her own magic and assist in that regard from the Adrenos, and then making sure that the Adrenos is, recovered from the first sortie, and then or from the first sortie, and then that the Inferno gauntlets are recharged and ready for battle.
Very, very much like I know my job, and it's to fuck shit up. Everyone else can. I'll listen to the briefing. Everyone else can handle the planning. I know what I'm here to do.
Yep.
Okay, who wants to roll to plan the sortie? Does anyone get a bonus to this? I feel like somewhere along the line we got a bonus to plan and prepare from something, and that might have been changed or modified. I'm not certain.
Are we attacking the Arcanate?
You're going up against the Hall of Meisters.
Because we have that 3 holds. We can spend 1 to gain advantage on. Oh well, I guess I think that's like an actual attack.
Yeah, it's an attack.
That's an actual attack. What I will say is, if you want to, you could spend like all of that to give yourself an extra die to be like you gave that to another faction and they went and caused a distraction. Either way, if it gets spent, Flaris is mad because she don't like that there's demon killing bullets out there. I think probably less mad if you spend them all at once to go create a distraction because she's like, I didn't see it, but I know it happened.
As long as Farina's not doing it, then
it's
like,
less.
He will be happy. Yeah.
So
do we all roll this by number?
I just somebody needs to roll. It doesn't. It's not any particular person.
Okay. I thought we all did it.
Yeah, it's just everybody. It's not everybody individually. I don't think.
Hit, do you have the dinosaur dice?
I do.
With the dinosaur dice.
Yeah.
I think
because the way it reads, like that last sentence is it.
Yeah, everyone describes what they're doing and what is to come,
rolls.
and then rolls, plan, and prepare. When you review,
I don't know, that I could be wrong, but that like read it as like everything.
That's because that seems weird. Like super powerful,
right? Which is weird.
But at the same time,
it's definitely everyone.
But however, hold up though, because for every result that is above the division stake,
right?
But then,
right?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna say. One. I will.
No, I think it's 1 person.
I think because the original was supposed to be 1 person.
Yeah.
Rolls it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with that, but someone remind me to ask Briar.
Okay.
And be like, yo, what's up? Just send me a text to be like, hey, ask Briar about this.
Can do.
Okay, so we're rolling with a I think that is a raptor and a triceratops.
Raptors and triceratops are fun. And to keep in mind, the stake for this division is 4.
So that's a 1 and a 4.
So neither. We don't get any benefit.
Oof.
Like I said, if you want to spend those like Evanta-Black shells, you can do that to get another die.
I want to share the boom boom to make Farina's god mad. Or I want to save the boom boom to make Farina's god mad.
Well, this still would make it mad, just not as mad.
It's true.
I think actually you could probably do that 1-to-1 since those things are so powerful. You could spend 1. You have 3. You can spend 1 for an extra die if you want.
I'm fine with spending 1 if you guys are.
Sure.
Oh, Drew says no.
Oh no, sorry, I was shaking my head. Kylie
Off
asked
screen.
a question. Yeah. No, I say burn 1. Give us an extra die. Let's see if we can get something.
Yeah. And which faction do you give it to? So like, good, just be like, here, take this super weapon and go cause a ruckus.
I think
because we can.
Remoras, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Remoras make the most sense.
Is this that fight then from the conflict turn? Like in addition to the distraction they were already causing, we get this like final bit of Kurt Maldonado in the Silver Tongue, like bye, and just fucking blows a hole in the Guardian of Harmony, Alvar.
Maybe that's how they can retreat.
Yeah. That's how they
Yeah.
get it. Like, oh, perfect. Love it.
Yeah. Kurt surprised everyone that he usually uses a ruby red sword and was like just pulled out a can out of nowhere and just blasted and was like, we weren't expecting that. You have a sword. Where did that come from?
You can't have a sword and a cannon. That's
I'll note that Alvar, the Guardian of Harmony, their Astir is like desynced. Like you fucked up its connection to its demon.
Hell yeah.
They sacrifice more children.
Wait, hold on. What? I didn't sign up for that.
Okay. So yeah, you can roll an extra die.
Okay, this is gonna be a vampire die.
Come on, kid.
Come on, a 5 or 6.
That's a 5.
Yay!
All right. So for every result that is above the division stake, choose one. During the sortie, you will have an opportunity to untap a faction of your choice. During the sortie, you will have a risky opportunity to reduce the authority's stability by 1, which is crazy. That's a lot. During the sortie, you will have a risky opportunity to secure a conflict outcome, which means you get an extra like conflict turn result. Or the next lead a sortie roll is made with advantage, which will be the one where someone chooses to lead it. Or all players hold 1, and you may spend your hold during the next sortie as if it were hold gained through one of your basic or playbook moves. Those are all really solid.
The risky move to destabilize the authority by 1.
Yeah,
really
that's my gut. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not fuck this war up like we did the last one.
Let's go early. Let's early for a move to knock him down.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna write that down.
Let's hit him hard the first time, and then Lauren will come back with something that will kill all of us.
Yeah.
No. Maybe a little, but no.
Maybe a little.
Okay, you're gonna have a risky opportunity.
I love it. Risky opportunities sound fun.
Yes.
All right. Risky opportunity to destabilize.
Oh, this is Flaris. How mad is he getting me?
Flaris is... I think that'll come up in the next sortie.
Oh, no.
Why won't this button work?
Yeah. You should have got rid of that shell. Fuck you. Why'd you do that?
I didn't use it, though.
But it's out there. And I think like one of the things is like Flaris wants those destroyed, right? Is the thing. So we'll get to that. That'll be fun. That'll come up next sortie. But yeah, Flaris is not the most pleased that those things got out in the world. You'll have a risky opportunity to strike. I will let you know what that is next time, just like off the bat, and it will be risky, for sure. But with that, I think like the final scene that was the final scene we got is just everybody planning and like us knowing this is where we're going, this is what we're getting into. And so that was the flight of the Apollyon for this evening. Did we go late? I don't know if we went late or not.
No, we only had 2 hours.
We're right at 2 hours. Perfect. Yeah. It was going to be a shorter one because we were figuring this all out. We'll figure out what Briar changes between now and next week.
Yep.
Or 2 weeks from now. Join us for whatever Briar writes between now and then.
Briar, if you could just tweet at us when you make those changes.
Seriously.
Sounds so much.
I know she like retweeted that we were streaming this at one point, and I don't know if she's busy. She fucking busy. She ain't got time for our shit.
We barely have time for our own shit.
We barely have time
right?
for our own shit. Welcome to the flight of the Apollyon, the most inconsistent stream in existence.
To be fair, we are very cursed.
Yes.
We're very cursed.
It's not choices that we made.
Granted, the thing that should have cursed me tonight has not happened.
I know. You did not.
That's when Lauren's internet died.
Right? Yeah. That would be so funny if that happened right now. I've consistently had horrible internet problems over the past like 3 to 4 days. It's been awful. But tonight it's been fine. Thank you everybody for joining me. I had a great time. Really appreciate everyone's presence here. So let's do one more round of plugs. I am Lauren, your facilitator, or if they call it this, director. You can find me on Twitter at DM_LSP. You can listen to the podcasts I run at either Nerds on a Roll or In Quest of Geek, where I run New Hope City, both of which are Masks podcasts. And you can buy the games that I write at dmlsp.itch.io if you like games about horny teenage superheroes or whether or not Jay Gatsby might be Dracula. That's a fun one that's up there. That one's free. You can play that one for free. So check that out. Let's go in same order as earlier, just because that's going to be easiest. Kit, tell us about yourself.
I'm Kit. You can find me here every other Thursday, or on my channel. I'm trying to set up a better streaming schedule, and so far it's not really working due to weird issues with whatever streaming software I use. It's just not really liking the game I was playing, so it wasn't really broadcasting it. So I'm gonna have
what
to
are you playing?
Baldur's Gate 3. It wasn't
Baldur's Gate 3.
Wasn't liking me streaming that, so it wasn't.
Didn't like that.
So I'm gonna have to figure out a new game to stream on Wednesdays. But every other Thursday that isn't this, I'm going to be doing something called Theorycraft Thursdays, in which I do weird, funky homebrew stuff, be it spells, weird classes, or just really any homebrew stuff that I kind of want, with a host that will be chosen at, not really at random, but whoever wants to join me that night to make stuff. And when I get to it, I will also be doing D&D back on my channel when I can get to it. Yeah.
Alrighty. Liz.
My name is Liz. You can find me on Twitter at Favtastical. I'm here every other Thursday, and then when Corpses and Curios does their Halcyon by Night stream, you can find me with some of these kids causing chaos.
Halcyon by Night is super fun. That's run by Polish Ogre, who is in the chat. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Showed up in time to curse our one die roll.
I know.
One die roll.
Chris is a macabre GM who
Yeah.
absolutely pushes players to, I think, the limit, but in a very fun and respectful way.
I mean,
lines of
Time-
veils are used.
One time when we're not streaming, I'll tell you about the time I almost made him pull an X card.
Ooh, look, the last time I played with Chris, I was shooting an alien inside of a furry costume head in a bathroom. Okay. Shoot was wild.
Oh God.
We may or may not have fought SpongeBob. So
Yeah,
Very
Chris-
recently.
Chris runs fun, wild games.
Yes.
Check out Halcyon by Night. Absolutely. Speaking of Halcyon by Night, we got two. I mean, everyone but me here is on Halcyon by Night. So let's go down to the next that member and also Corpses and Curios person,
Yes.
Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim. You can find me on Twitter at Violently Ginger. I am part of Corpses and Curios. Season 1, we played GURPS. Season 2, I am the GM. We are currently playing in Shadows, so that's fun. It's also a game with fascists. So if you want more fascism, there's a fun group where they're, trying to figure out a mystery and overthrow a group of weird totalitarian fascists. Hey, check that out. It's a fun ride. And then, as Fab said, whenever Halcyon by Night gets together and does their stuff on channel, we do that. And then we're here on Thursdays, every Thursday. So, fun times. Yeah, that's me.
Finally, last but not least, we have the man himself, Drew.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. I lost my train of thought because I was typing up a tweet. As I do. I'm Drew Tillman, and you can find me here every other Thursday when the curse allows us to play. You can find me on pretty much any platform at cyber_Sasquatch. It's sort of my handle at this point. And you can also find me in Taking Initiative as a Tabaxi monk who I think I've almost cracked the 1,000 feet per 6 seconds thing.
That's just the goal of playing a Tabaxi monk, right?
That really is. I mean,
you
I
get
think
there and then you've achieved it.
and I'm real close.
And then you've
if
won
I-
D&D.
right, and
They
I
mail you a trophy.
300 feet
Signed by the gases
around
themselves.
shy. We'll see. I have to.
Doable.
My math's a little wonky on it. And you can also find me on Halcyon by Night, like they said, where I play Edgelord, who is just a big softy who loves everybody and can fight with any bladed weapon. And that's my whole thing.
I love Edgelord, the most recent inductee into the Court of Blades, which I totally botched doing for March Madness this year because I was moving while it was happening and starting a new job. I had a whole thing planned for like people having to like find and confront Edgelord and like beat him to get a tiny sword pin. And it just did not happen because I was so busy. But Edgelord is great. All the Halcyon by Night kids are great. Love them. Okay, so see us in 2 weeks, curse allowing. Right now we don't have any extenuating circumstances, so we'll see what happens.
It's school vacation, baby.
Oh, okay. Well, like that puts Fav at like 2 points above the rest of us in terms of curse factor. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.